intercepted, and there goes Brandon Carr into the end zone. Dallas will win this game.
Romo throws left.
Pass is going to be intercepted for the win. The kick is up. The kick is good, and the Cowboys' hearts are broken.
102 left, and now the Lions are forced to march the ball down for a touchdown. But I don't feel real good about this.
No, I don't either.
Stafford trying to get the ball spiked.
And Stafford dives over the top. Touchdown Lions! And it's going to be the comeback of a lifetime.
Dez needs to understand now who he is in the scope of everything.
Kick away. Kick up. Kick good! Dan Bailey with no time left. They never needed one more than they needed this.
Give us to Lacy, leaps the middle of the line to the end zone. Touchdown! And the Packers have the lead.
The Cowboys somehow, I don't know how, they figured out a way to cough this one up. Welcome to Dysfunction Junction. Dallas can still get in the playoffs.
It's going to come down to one play here.
Romo back, looking, throws on the run, touchdown! Next week, if you got a ticket, you got to come to AT&T Stadium because it's for the playoffs.
Tony Romo's season officially came to an end today. The Cowboys announced Romo underwent back surgery this morning.
Cal Orton has to win it for you, fellas.
The season down to this. Back to throw, first down, over the middle. Oh, it's intercepted. And another disappointment for Cowboy fans.
DeMarcus Ware, he was released by the Cowboys today.
So right now, what do you do if you're the Cowboys?
That last week of the season always hurting the Cowboys in recent years. We look at their offseason activity. Miles Austin has been released at wide receiver. DeMarcus Ware signed with the Broncos, but acquisitions. Big Henry Melton, a defensive tackle. Jeremy Mincey, a defensive end. And Brandon Weeden coming in to try and be a backup quarterback. Now let's go inside the Cowboys draft room with a very special guest.
And what assurance do we have that you're going to target the right signature?
I agree. We're not going to wait this kid out. He killed cops. He knows he's not walking out of here alive.
It sounds like you've already made the decision that nobody's walking out of there alive. You're the one that's making that.
Calm down. Calm down. The two of you, calm down. That's an order. Calm down.
Dolan, my heart is with you. But my head is with Nick.
All right, there he is. You just heard him announced as Nick Stokes on CSI, which will be on tonight. Actually, that's Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern. So we've got to get this thing going. This is George Eads. And George, we got to get moving because you got to get back to your regular job. But you are a Cowboys fan through and through, and we're so glad you're here to help me and Daniel Jeremiah navigate the Cowboys draft room, getting ready for the big draft in 2014. Let's start on the offensive side of the football. The positions we have highlighted in red, that means we've identified them as positions of need. What do you think there? Guard, tackle? How are you feeling about that?
It's funny, Cowboy fans don't run out and buy offensive lineman jerseys. So, typically this is an area as a fan where you're double checking, you're seeing who's on the offensive line. So the fact that y'all have those highlighted, those are the ones I probably would have highlighted myself. Although I think that the red should go into a different area.
Okay, where are we talking? Tell us where you think we should go with that.
Well, I know a 500 team, it's hard to say. Where do you improve? Where do you improve? How do you improve?
3 years in a row, by the way.
3 years in a row.
Eight.
11 games in the last 3 years by 4 points or less. This is an offensive team that I think that it showed against Denver can play football. Right. But at the same time, I love that we ran out and got Weeden. I love we're putting some pressure on Tony to play. And I'd like to see the running back position have a real leader emerge from that four. So, tight end, of course, Witten.
Got a young guy in Escobar you drafted last year. We'll wait and see.
I like to see people in the wings helping out our veterans. So asking me about the offensive line, I can start lying to you. But I don't think I'm in a position to do that.
I like the other places he highlighted. That means DeMarco Murray needs to stay healthy at running back. Joseph Ramlin needs to keep emerging at running back. I would move him up on the pecking order a little bit. We know they got flash and dash at the wide receiver with Des Bryant and crew. But offensive line, what do you think, DJ? Guard and tackle.
Well, before I give you the name of a guard and tackle that can help this football team, George, how do you become a Cowboy fan? Did you grow up around the team? How did
it
this get
starts
started?
with Dallas Cowboy pajamas and wallpaper. It moves all the way into lunchboxes cases and thermoses.
Huffy
and,
jerseys, Huffy helmets.
And Staubach jerseys that actually rot off because your mom forces you to wash it.
Occasionally she's got to get it off
So, yeah, I mean, I was in the locker room back in the day when Staubach had his thumb in a cast. My dad put me on his shoulders, walked me around the locker room, and then Ed Tutel Jones took over, put me on his shoulders.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. He probably remembers Clint Longley then.
All right, you've earned your stripes, and as a Cowboy fan, we're going to look for some offensive line help, though. Let's say they don't do it at pick number 16, Charles. Juwan James from Tennessee is a player we both like. At pick number 47, can give Doug Free some competition there. He's an interesting player. At the guard position, I think you can get that one in the middle rounds. And how about this name we haven't mentioned yet? Dakota Dozier from Furman. Guy showed up at the East-West game. I think he was sliding over to pick number 78. Played tackle at Furman's a small school in South Carolina, but was excellent at the East-West Shrine game. All right, guys, we talked about this offense, but George, I think you agree with us. The defensive side of the ball is where this team needs a little bit of work.
All right, I'll slide down
on the defensive side of the ball. And I think we need to start at the defensive end position. DeMarcus Ware had been there forever, and now all of a sudden he's gone. Well, first of all, your thoughts on him moving on and how much of a priority it is for this football team to replace.
Well, and I can see the Cowboys not making sentimental choices right now, which is good for fans. I mean, there's some players that I think fans have felt like have been on the team that was a true love affair. And I think at some point we have to look at our separation anxiety. And so seeing them make the moves they've made with Miles and with DeMarcus, although they were some of my favorite players, I think the red boxes are right here. I think at the safety position, I don't know him personally, but I know a certain number on a guy's back that drove me crazy with not tackling and letting balls go over his head. I love big guys like Church at safety, but I mean, they got to stay healthy. And of course, the defensive end, when DeMarcus leaves, he leaves a huge void.
All right, let's go back to that safety position here. At pick number 16, I think this is a guy you would really, really like, not just because he's a great player, but because he's got a great name. I can see you in the Ha-Ha Clinton Dix jersey, George. Give me your free safety, be the best free safety you've had there since Darren Woodson, if they were to get him at pick number 16.
I like it.
Ha-ha? You're okay with ha-ha?
I'll go with ha-ha. There's a yeehaw in there, but I'll go with ha-ha yeehaw. All right, I like that.
I like that one. Well, I like the fact that you brought in ha-ha there. If you'd have to go in that point because you'd have to go at 16 because after 16 we're not getting him at all. But if we get deeper into it, a Desmond Southworth as a safety from Wisconsin is a possibility. A Jamea Thomas from Georgia Tech, a real good tackler, could be later on in the draft there. But if you go back to the defensive tackle and defensive ends, I think you've got a couple creative guys there that you could use, Dan.
Yeah, a couple defensive tackles we talked about a lot. Tim Jernigan and Aaron Donald, two very disruptive players. Give you some push inside that's great in this defensive scheme. At the defensive end position, I know Anthony Barr played linebacker at UCLA, but I think in this scheme, I think you see him at defensive end, give them some speed, an edge rusher to replace a guy like DeMarcus Ware. You got to have a pass rush, George. You want to win football games in this division.
But wouldn't you guys agree that at a 500 team, those are some of the hardest teams to dissect and figure out where they do need help? I mean, you even look at our picks, 16, 47, 78. It's going to be tough to move personnel around.
Yeah, you're right. You're right in the middle.
Yeah.
So your overall thoughts on your Cowboys going forward? We've mentioned it 3 straight years at 500. Got your heart broken on Sunday night for the last 3 seasons. How do they move forward besides the draft for you?
Well, if you look at the defense, who it seems to be that we're highlighting here, I mean, it's still a young defense. I still think there's room for improvement. I mean, when you're working
there's a lot of room for improvement.
But I mean, when you're working out in the NFL, these are young guys. You never know. Maybe you'll see guys step up and really improve, and maybe people will start buying their jerseys. So it's all about the star. They got to play as one unit. So we'll see what happens.
It's all about the star, or in certain jerseys, the double star jersey that Jerry Jones trotted out there. I'm sure you've got one of those. George Eads plays Nick Stokes on CSI Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you check it out. George Eads, we appreciate you coming by and helping us with the Cowboys draft room.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.